Yeah, in Melbourne, how are people waking up to this corona? How are they kind of shielding themselves?
So we've got an Australia-wide approach at the moment, and like many countries, it involves a number of different things. The first first of all, I guess it starts with the individual, with personal hygiene. We've all been told the importance of washing our hands, and also we're now increasingly moving to what we call social distancing. So I think sitting about as far apart as we all are now is what we're all required to do, so that we are. So the stage that Australia is at the moment is that we've had more than 350 cases across the country, and around 5 deaths at the last count that I heard. And so it's very important. These coming weeks are very important to try and stop the spread of the illness. So people are being asked that if they have returned from overseas in the last 2 weeks, or if they've come in contact with someone who is a known positive case of COVID-19, that they should self-isolate at home for 2 weeks. So many people in Australia are doing that, practicing self-isolation, which means staying in their homes or hotels. Similar to India, we've also increased restrictions on our travel. So we've now urged all Australians to reconsider their need for travel to anywhere in the world, and we're also asking that anyone arriving from overseas, they need to self-quarantine for 14 days before going to the community. So these measures are aimed at slowing the spread of COVID-19, and I guess we all know the reasons behind that. First of all, we want to avoid the more vulnerable members of society being affected by this illness and facing serious illness or even the possibility of death. But also we want to try and reduce the stress and strain on our hospitals and our medical staff, because if there's a large spike in people having to go for hospital treatment, that's going to put a lot of pressure. So I think this is why all countries are now looking to adopt measures such as these. Indian government is also adopting measures of similar nature to this.
You've restricted entry into restaurants and pubs and schools and colleges. All these measures are also
in slightly different at this stage, but these measures are all being reviewed on a almost daily basis at the moment. But the most recent set of measures announced in Australia were restrictions on larger public gatherings of over 500 people, encouraging people to work from home if they could, and those sort of measures. But we haven't yet moved to the steps in Delhi where shopping centres and restaurants are being closed. But I'm sure those measures would be being considered at least at this time.
In Australia, is it spread all over the country, or is it restricted to a particular place?
No, it has spread all over the country, and I think one of the things is Australians, like Indians, are travellers, and so many people have travelled, and now we're also getting cross-community infection as well. So each state and territory of Australia has now been impacted. I guess there's some rural areas that haven't been impacted yet, but certainly the major centres have been impacted.
Please don't forget to subscribe our channel and also click the bell icon to get the latest updates.